Derek, you know I want to do this podcast with you, but only on one condition.
Sure.
Don't fuck me. Don't you ever fuck me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Let's get this show on the road then. Hey Tony, you got the Stuttgarts. Let's get out of here.
Welcome to the good, the bad, and the bloody. I'm Derek Brown.
I'm Cody Bowden.
At least most of the time we are. And we're going to talk about Poltergeist.
Yes. Wow, we're just jumping right into it.
Yes, we are. At least we're going to try to.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, this is a good time to address something because it's right off the bat, and everyone's listening to the first 2 minutes at least, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, and this is why, everyone says our podcast is too damn long.
Yes.
Like, they don't understand that, I don't know, I've said it in comments a lot all the time, but they don't seem to understand that, like, most podcasts are more than an hour long. I go on to, like, just watch people just hanging out, and it's, like, upwards of 3 hours. These things are ridiculous.
Yep.
Why are you taking your shirt off?
I'm taking off my sweatshirt, audience. He's just trying to scare you.
Oh, I saw a lot more than your undershirt, let me tell you. Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
And then we have the people that say, why don't you show you guys talking? Why don't you make it a video? Well, guess what, folks? One day we will. One day we'll just record ourselves talking with video as supplement. But right now, not really in a good really environment to do that. We don't really have a camera, you know.
We don't have a good room to film in.
Yeah, it would just be weird. It would honestly look like, well, hell, let's face it. It's like one of those TV dining tables that you put in front of like your couch and you're watching the game, eating like chips or whatever. And we just slapped a microphone on it. We're just sitting on two wooden chairs looking at each other. And you know what, Derek? I don't mind looking at you.
Likewise.
Sugar. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yes. So now that I cleared that out of the air, hell, let's just talk about Poltergeist. We'll try to keep this one shorter, I suppose. See how that goes. Oh yeah, we were under an hour last episode with the Babadook, and my brother, who was the biggest critic of ours, which is strange, right?
He's also our biggest fan.
Yeah, which is weird. He was always saying, you know, it's too long. And then he goes up to us and has the audacity to tell us that we skipped a lot of stuff in the Babadook, which granted we did, but what does he want from me, you know?
What do you want from me?
What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I like that song. Adam Lambert is my hero.
It's okay.
It's alright, I guess.
He can be your hero.
Anyway.
I've got Superman.
Derek, why don't you give us a little background on Poltergeist?
Poltergeist came out in 1982. Same year as The Thing.
Oh my. Really?
Yeah.
Dude, this movie, I'm sorry.
Which The Thing itself came out on the same exact day as Blade Runner.
That's cool.
Isn't it?
I'm sorry, but The Thing blows this out of the water. Like, if you were to compare, like, because this is considered a classic.
Yes.
If you were to compare those two, though, like, this is good, obviously. We're going to talk about that, but the Thing is just incredible. That's a great movie.
The Thing is the main thing.
It is.
If you don't mind me saying. But, Poltergeist, made in 1982, was directed by Tobe Hooper, the guy who made Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What's his name?
Tobe Hooper. Or Toby.
Okay.
However. But it's spelled T-O-B-E. So I just like to think Tobe or to be Hooper. to be Hooper, you have to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
To be Hooper or not to be Hooper.
That is the Hooper.
Tobe Hooper. Tobe Hooper sounds like an insult from like the 20s.
Get out of here, you Hooper.
Hey, you Don Dirty Tobe Hoopers? You and the Carpetbagging Friends? Skedaddle.
You and Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Yes, folks, this is a Spielberg film. At
Yes.
least he produced it.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt a lot of Spielberg in this.
I saw a lot of both of them. Like, the whole contrast of a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, all the calm scenes felt Spielberg. All the violent scenes felt
Yeah,
a little bit of Spielberg.
Like
but
when the- like
Tobe
when-
Hooper was sitting there going, I'm the real director,
Yeah.
Spielberg. Look at me.
Like
look,
when the
look
woman,
in my eyes.
like when the female characters were thrashing around, like fighting the demons and stuff. It was like, oh my gosh, this is the same kind of fighting that you would see in like Chainsaw Massacre. But then there were like the scenes where they're running down a hallway and it's just playing. Let's face it, it's Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like in the background. I just expected that one guy to come out and be like, you know, yeah, you see, yeah, no, I don't know. It just sounded a lot like Jurassic Park, like the music at least, you know. It had that very like Indiana Jones kind of like trills with like
the ghosts
violin
looked
and
like
stuff.
the Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
ghosts.
I was like, who opened up the Ark in here? You know what I'm saying?
So
Only 80s kids will get that. Sorry.
to those unfamiliar with the classic Poltergeist, first off, go watch it. And two,
yeah.
whether you like it or not, watch it, and then come back and listen to our review so you're not in the dark.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's so confusing how we do our format, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have to talk about the movie from beginning to end or else we're going to miss stuff. But then a lot of people are like, well, why don't we just watch the movie? Because we try to analyze it. We're going to break it down a bit, you know? There's a reason we're talking about it.
I'm trying to be scientifical here.
Yeah,
Talking
but
about ghosts and
let's
shit.
use logic here, guys, and like just seriously, just calm down and let us talk about the movie, okay?
I don't know who I'm talking to. Like, that's literally directed at just my brother.
You're just talking to Mike right here. To Mike.
Mike, our Mike. Wait,
Yeah.
are we going to name the microphone we use?
Sure.
Is it going to be Mike?
I thought I just did.
That's a terrible name for a
It
microphone.
is.
How about it's Mike, but we just call it Michael. Did you bring Michael? Yeah.
Tell Michael you're sorry by whispering caressingly into its ear.
I'm sorry, Michael.
Ooh.
It won't happen again. I'll smack your ass.
Well, anyway, Poltergeist.
Otherwise known as, in the San Francisco community, Poltergeist.
Get out of here.
Sorry, you made that joke the other day.
I know.
It was much better. I'm sorry.
They're here.
They're
and
queer.
Get used to it. Poltergeist is about a family who soon experiences paranormal activity, like all ghost films are.
Yeah, but no, this isn't like soon. This is like scene one, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's what's weird about this movie. But
You don't get to see Happy Family and then Event.
No,
you get
yeah.
to see Event and then Happy Family going, what's going on here, Pop?
so let's jump right into the Poltergeist.
It starts off
We're ridiculous.
patriotic mumbo jumbo
Yeah, it's playing the national anthem while the credits roll by.
of whatever program. I have no idea.
And just like, and I thought, this is Steven Spielberg all the way, man. Because I thought this was fucking E.T. when I saw this. Because it starts out with a nice neighborhood. Everyone's doing shit outside.
E.T. also came out in 1982.
Dude, I bet it did. You know what? And I'm glad it's considered better than this movie because, let's face it, he's just copying himself at this point, you know? So it's just like suburbia. Bullshit, right? Like, kids are playing with RC cars. One part that was really funny, it made us all laugh. Like, there was this really sweaty guy carrying a bunch of beer to this one guy's house on a bicycle, which that turns out to be, like, which I didn't even know, would be our segue into the main characters.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I was like, who's this fucker, right? Like, they're just gonna ignore him.
Who's this douche Magoo? Goes into the house with the damaged beer. So there was a scene right in the beginning of the film where these two neighbors are having an argument over move your goddamn TV because your remote is interfering with my bullshit. I'm trying to watch sports and you're over there watching Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, the guy that was on the street with the beer, like the sweaty guy doing a beer run basically on a bicycle. He was going,
Nerd.
yeah, which is weird. But he was delivering beer to this one house. All these guys are watching a football game, and apparently, that guy and his neighbor have the exact same television set. And Derek, you thought that he got the other set just to spite him.
Fuck yeah.
It was possible if they don't like each other, you know. So the neighbors, you know, they're both complaining. They're both yelling at each other because the neighbor's kid wants to watch Mr. Rogers, actually.
I'd rather watch Mr. Rogers than football.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, me too. But, so he's like, I don't want to watch football. You know, my kid wants to watch Mr. Rogers. We're watching Mr. Rogers. And he goes, well, what the hell, man? Just give me a break, right? Which I don't understand. Because, yeah, you can change the channels with, like, you know, the clicker, the remote, right? But what about changing the channel with the TV panel, like on the TV.
They're Americans, goddammit.
I don't
They
care.
earned the right to be lazy.
It's not like the neighbor is like going back and forth with the remote, you know? He could just like go to Mr. Rogers once and they just walk up to the TV and click it. That's done with. Yeah, they'll be off by the one channel, but if one of them goes up or down, then it'll change, you know? But it won't be on the same channel. I didn't understand that.
If they were being logical, we wouldn't have had that funny scene.
Oh, I think it's funny. I mean, Steven Spielberg does comedy like a Holocaust survivor does comedy.
Ooh.
Too
Wait,
soon?
is he a Holocaust survivor?
With a name like Spielberg, it has to be good.
Right after this hilarious neighbor dispute,
Yeah.
we get to see a dead bird.
Oh, yeah. So, this is what, I don't know, this movie, you don't get to know the family at all. Like, you don't know these characters at all.
They just drop you right in.
Seriously, like, okay, now, all we know about the dad so far is that he likes to watch football, and he has a lot of weird, sweaty friends. Whatever.
And he drinks.
Yeah, and he doesn't like his neighbor because he has the same TV remote as him. These are not character development, like, this is not character development. These are just quirks. Like, stupid little...
This is like Joss Whedon kind of characterization.
Yeah. That'd be like if I go to work and some guy's just like, man, Cody really likes to fold cardboard because, you know, I see him folding it all the time and throwing it away. It's like, I don't like to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But if that's all you see me doing, like, throughout one day, then...
That's all I do.
That's all you can assume of me, right?
It's what I do.
You know, these characters are...
Batman.
There's no time to get, like, deep with these characters. They give us opportunities a lot in this movie, but they just ignore. They just drop the ball completely. It just ends up being stupid bullshit that's trying to be funny or, like, interesting, but it's not. Especially nowadays. Like, I don't know. We'll talk about a certain scene about that, but...
Well.
So then it cuts to the mother who's upstairs doing laundry or some shit, and she finds her daughter's dead bird.
Yep.
And this is like the nuclear family. There's a little boy, a little girl, a mom and a dad, and there's an older sister too. So
It's kind of slutty, whatever.
Yeah, but she's not very significant. So I'm gonna just say it's a nuclear family. Just cut out that older
She's
daughter.
like Meg.
Yeah, seriously. Except she's like Meg. So the mother's up in the daughter's room or whatever, finds a dead bird, and she goes, "Oh no!" And we're like, "Oh, the dead bird's
Let's not
sad."
tell the little girl.
Yeah, but she's not actually sad because the mother just looks at the dead bird and goes, "Couldn't you have just waited till school presentation day?" You know, and it's like, wow, are you serious? She was keeping that bird alive for like a school project. I mean, come on.
What a slaver.
I know, but of course the little girl's upset about this, so she attempts to flush this bird down the toilet.
And the girl's just like, "No, mommy, we gotta bury it proper."
Yeah, which is a lot of foreshadowing in this movie. That's the biggest foreshadowing ever, because it's like proper burial. And if you know anything about the Poltergeist, you know that's just like holy shit, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how she tries to flush the bird down.
She hits flush and then attempts to drop it.
Yeah, that's like if
I
I
would
was
have thrown it in first and then flushed it.
That'd be like if I was like, well, gotta take a piss, and I flush the toilet and then start peeing into
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm not gonna be able to.
Well, you gotta hit the ground flushing.
Wow.
Boom.
Hit the ground dumping.
So they put a photo in there
Yeah, it's kind of.
to remember us by.
Yeah.
And a rose to smell pretty. And a napkin to keep warm.
Yeah, like they're putting this bird in a shoebox, and this little girl's. She's thought of everything. Actually, that's what Cassidy said. She's like, damn, what didn't she put in there, you know? And it's true. I would have been like, I will have the water feature in this corner of the shoebox. Maybe some mirrors on this wall, you know?
Yep, just in case he has any bird friends over.
A little mini bar inside the shoebox.
Comes
in
with a
case he gets
bartender.
really lonely. It's fucked up.
God damn it.
But, yes.
So yeah, they go through that, and then they go through kids being put to bed later that night, and then the parents are in their bedroom, and they're totally smoking weed.
Yeah, this is like character development scene number 2. So number
Dad's
3.
hip because he does the reefer.
Yeah. So here's what we learned so far about the family. The dad is a dad. The mom is a mom. The little daughter, the youngest daughter, is really caring and like kind.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all we know. I mean, little girls are kind of like that anyway.
So of course she's gonna get fucked up in this movie.
Of course, yeah. You can't just be like the innocent sweetheart and not get completely fucked over by ghosts,
Yeah.
you know?
I think the only person who gets it worse is her brother.
Oh, yeah, for real. Dude, yes. But he fought back, which is cool. But So we're in the parents' bedroom. They're both smoking pot, which I thought was really stupid because she did not look like she was not convincing at all. Honestly,
Heck
her
no.
her acting for her like smoking weed was almost like a 5-year-old pretending to like get high, right? Just like,
What do you mean pretending?
oh, this is good reefer, dude. I'm mowing the. What did you say? I'm mowing the grass.
Yeah. We're just mowing the grass, kids.
Johnny, are you on the chronic?
But the dad was funny because he's like doing push-ups on the bed and shit.
Yeah.
He's like reading shit really close to his face.
Yeah, he's just being weird, and I can't even remember what their conversation was about. They were talking about something in like their high school years or something.
Some shit about the mom being a slut before.
Yeah, really.
And the dad's just kind of like whatever about it.
Exactly.
Which is exactly how I would act if I was high and my girlfriend was just saying shit like, oh yeah, I once took on 3 guys. I'd be like, man, this book about space.
Oh my god.
Far out, dude.
Just trying to ignore it, or like, would you actually be into the book?
I don't even know.
Dude, I don't know.
That's how I get, though.
If I was him, though, I would just been like, what?
Like, yeah, those Mulholland guys.
Oh my god. Jesus. I don't know. He has a great intensity, though. He's so focused in this book.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
I wish I knew what the book was.
Maybe that's why she was telling him at that moment about that, because she's like, I gotta let him know this happened, but I'm gonna wait till he's high and he'll probably forget. And if he ever finds out somehow, she'll just be like, I told you that one time.
Yeah, you were just high.
Genius.
Steven.
I wonder how many things that my friends have told me while I was drunk. Just so like they'd be like, Cody, I'm gay. And I'd be like, dude, right on. And I'll, like the next day I'll be like, hey, so you got a girlfriend?
Cody.
What?
I'm pregnant.
I want a divorce.
No, we're only at episode 5.
Oh god, we can't stop now. We have to hit the 10. Have to hit the 1 month landmark. This is the last episode for this month.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ghost month is almost over.
As soon as we're done with the podcast, it'll be over.
Exactly.
So, anyway, they go to bed, watch the same patriotic program again.
What are they watching? It's just like some like national anthem shit.
I gotta find out what it is.
I don't know.
And then I'll be able to tell you. So, the TV goes static, just like in the very first scene of the film. And at this point...
It goes static in the first scene?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
After the national anthem thing in the beginning of the film, it goes static.
Credits.
And then she gets up and just... Carol Ann gets up and just stares at it. And then the next day goes through all the shit we just talked about.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. But that's just because that was the opener. That was like the credit scene.
So...
That had nothing to do with it.
Just like in the beginning, it does this static scene, but this time all the family, except for older sister, are in the bed because the 2 kids freaked out about the tree that's outside of their window.
It's basically the kids get scared because there's a lightning storm, right?
And a big tree and a clown doll.
Yeah, the kids have a lot of reasons. Honestly, they do have a lot of good reasons to be scared of going to bed tonight. So then that's why they're all together at this point, because the kids run in from the other rooms because they're scared. They're like, I want to sleep with you, Mom and Dad. And they're like, whatever, let's put away
And Dad's just like, God damn it.
He's like, I was just gonna, blow through this split, but all right, I'll wait. Fine, whatever. Stupid fucking kids, right? Pain in my ass. So all the kids are in the bed with the mom and dad, which I'm surprised the kids aren't just like, Dad, Mom, you smell like skunk.
Why do you smell funny?
Why
do I feel weird?
Why does Dad have a bone? Yeah, they get contact highs.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Just a bunch of monkey bakers. just in the middle, like, what is this show?
Oh my god. But yeah, so they're all sleeping together, except for the older sister. Obviously, because she's a teenager. She didn't got time for that shit.
That's not cool, to sleep with your parents.
Yeah, and right before they do go to bed, there's a scene where he's like shutting her door, the father, and she's like on the phone, and he's like, "Get off the phone, you slut!" Shuts
Quit
the door.
slutting about my house.
Yeah, it's like, I know. He's like, "You aren't on the phone, are you?" She's like, "Nope," and she's like clearly
just hiding it.
Yeah, either that or it's like a dildo under there. It's an obvious,
Quit being on the phone. I'm not, Dad. Gall.
Well, then why is it vibrating?
So the TV goes static. Little Carol Ann.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay, so the youngest daughter. That's what I'm going to call her.
Yeah.
Because who has time to remember their names? They're not characters. They're quirks.
I only learned it. I only learned it because they kept saying it throughout the whole film.
Oh, that's true. They do. I forgot quickly because I don't care about them at all. Dude, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
I don't really care for the family either.
No.
Way to go, Spielberg. You made a film without me caring. I blame Toby.
And, like, watch a movie like E.T., which apparently came out around the same time. Same kind of themes. You know? Yeah, it's, like, amazing. But then this is just, like, the cookie cutter family. You honestly just want to see how they're going to get fucked with this movie. Yep. It's not even about them, like, winning. Which is why the dramatic scenes in this were stupid to me.
And this is how they get fucked. Carol Ann looks at the static again this time. Ghost hand appears just out and about. And then the parents wake up after this huge fucking earthquake.
Yeah, basically the ghost hand shoots out of the TV, flies into the wall, and it pretty much, I don't even know.
And it rocks the house.
Yeah, it's confusing to explain because it's really just like, it's just spooky Spectre bullshit. Mm-hmm. What's happening. I couldn't sit there and tell you, oh, what that scene was about was the ghosts were flying through the TV portal into the house portal or something. You know, it literally just had like a beam of like ghostly energy shoot through the TV into the house and like that's it.
If there was a face in the way, it would have melted like the Ark.
Exactly. Carol Ann just... she's out of there.
Man, this is a dark film.
Oh my god.
But they wake up, they're like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Carol Ann, what's going on? And she turns around and says the famous line, "They're here." And then just, boom, done.
Yeah, it cuts out of like we assume they go to bed after that.
Yeah, right back to bed like, oh, okay, they're here. Thank God.
Yeah.
At least they're on time. And then went back to sleep.
Better late than never.
And the next day they're just talking to these guys in their house about building a pool in the backyard. And the dad's on the phone going, yeah, there was an earthquake. I don't know what the fuck. How's no one else feel this shit? Maybe it was the drugs.
Yeah. And and this is where you learn, like, this is, weirdly enough, after this family development scene, this is where you finally begin to learn what's happening with the house. Like, there's some guys in the back, like, digging out the ground for a pool, you know? And it's like, why didn't they explain this stuff first? Which makes it feel like, no, that's not bad.
They were just trying to pull the rug out from under us.
Yeah, that's okay, but, you know, let's have the setting first. Like, before we jump into the characters.
Set it up, and then give us consequences.
It honestly feels like you are jumping into the middle of this movie. Which is what we all thought at first, because we were like, wow, that scene is like the first scene with the "they're here." Like, that was right off the bat, you know? And we thought that we missed scenes, too, because it, like, kept going when we expected it to end, you know? So this movie is really confusing. It just kind of...
It paces itself oddly.
Yeah, it's not... Like, if you were to remember this movie at all from when you were a kid, maybe you saw it, trust me, it's not how you
remember all the scary parts.
Yeah, and you remember them in the wrong order, I assure you.
Yes, because I did.
Yeah.
And I'm younger than you, so I have more of a memory or a shorter memory to access.
Even Cassidy was saying the same thing. She was like, I thought that scene was supposed to happen. And
the clown didn't come before the tree. What the fuck?
Yeah, and both of you were like, and I've never seen this movie before, so you know, I didn't care, but at the same time, I know some of those famous scenes because they're so famous, they're so parodied and talked about. So when I was expecting the clown scene or "they're here," I was expecting that halfway through the movie, maybe at the climax or something, but not right away. I mean, that's just weird.
Yeah.
So everything else seems a little slow after that.
Yeah. So after all that goes on, kids go to school, dad goes to work, presumably at a pot farm. No, actually, he's a real estate agent. Calm down. And the mom and little Carol Ann discover that chairs are moving by themselves.
Yeah, which is like a really weird scene. It's a Paranormal Activity scene. I'll give you that. You know, like they're in the kitchen, and this is broad daylight still. You know, the kids just went to work and shit. The kids went to work. The kids just went to the coal mines.
And dad got schooled.
But the camera's like facing the mom. The camera is on the mom washing the dishes for like a second. Cuts back to the kitchen. All the chairs upside down, like crazy fast.
And she's just like, "What?"
Yeah, and it's, if you were, say, an idiot, you would look at Caroline and go, "Wow, that little girl did that. Holy shit!" You know.
Look.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was like, very impressive, Caroline. It's great, honestly.
So then when the dad comes home from work later, you see, like, "No, come in here, honey. Look at this." And they put up this chair in this spot they marked on the floor, and then the chair just across the room.
Flies across the room.
Just does the electric slide.
Yeah. And this scene takes like 20 minutes. But, you know, you literally just explain the whole scene. You know, she finds a spot in the kitchen that's like specifically haunted because obviously she notices shit's weird immediately. Because the beginning of the day, the chair thing. And then, you know, she marked the spot where the chair flies across the room and where it ends and, like, you know, where to put it and all that stuff. And, like, that's it. But these people, like, spend 20 minutes staring at the chair and, like...
Whoa, the chair did it. There. Let's put Carol Ann in the spot.
Yeah, they decide to
give her a helmet. Protection first.
Yeah, they put their daughter in the spot where the chair moves. And, like, just like the chair, she slides across the room. And as a kid, I would have been like, fuck, that was awesome, right? I got dragged across the room like someone pushed me.
But the mom should be, like, horrified, but she's not.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's just like, look, Steven.
Yeah, and, like, as a kid, I would have been like, awesome. Like, I just got flown across the room by, like, magical force.
Cool.
Cool. But the little girl is just like, oh, Mom, I don't like that. You know, that wasn't fun. It hurts my butt. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But the way they explain it, just like, yeah, it feels like some weird force is, like...
pulling you from the gut.
Yeah, from, like, the stomach. And it's like, okay, cool.
It's called women's intuition. Look it up.
Yeah, and then so naturally they're like, well, we're having some disturbances. Let's go talk to the neighbors, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what their logic is. It's so weird.
Ben, are you experiencing any weird shit since that earthquake? No. All right, good talk.
Yeah, that's literally the conversation. But you know that it lasts like 5 minutes. They're standing at the door, just like laughing, giggling, and the neighbors are like, oh. They're high again. That's what I would have thought. You know, the neighbors are just like thinking that they're just stoned.
That goddamn Steven.
Yeah. Honestly, they're like the worst neighbors. They're just so weird.
Yes,
really.
they are.
But, you know, that scene takes way too long. I hate that scene. It's so stupid.
So then that night, when they go to sleep, more spooky shit happens, which this scene I thought was going to be near the end, as I remembered it. The tree comes to life and breaks through the window, grabs up the son, Bucktooth, and just
Buckwheat.
like fucking grabs him up out of the window, and they're just like, ah, Mom! Mom comes in, ah, Steven! And Steven comes in, ah, I'm
Call
high.
my mom.
So
call Grandpa.
They're trying to attack the tree, just beat the timber out of it. And the fucking thing eats the kid.
Yeah, it's trying to eat him. It's weird.
And then poops him out. And then they try fighting him still. I would have just said, fuck it, and legged it.
Yeah, and of course, what's really strange is the scenes where there's ghost activity, it's raining and storming hardcore. Like the scene where they were talking to their neighbors about, you know, the chairs moving around.
Yeah.
It's like, there's not even puddles on the ground. It's warm and nice outside. You know, nice summer day. But then when they're fighting the ghosts, it's like completely soaked and rainy, and it's just weird. I get that, you know, atmosphere, right? But come on.
This weather is schizophrenic.
And you'd think that if someone saw it was just raining on their house and nothing else, I think they'd call like the government or someone would be on top of it.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Randy Newman. Anyway.
Oh, during this same scene, while everyone's distracted trying to save Buckwheat.
From the living fucking tree.
Yeah.
The tree from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's the Walloping Willow.
Carol Ann gets sucked into her closet.
Yeah. You probably remember this scene too.
With bright lights emitting from the closet, and just this, like a big vacuum with a flashlight got hooked up into their closet, because it's just like bright light, brighter than our hot pink pants.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Carol Ann's just like, Mommy! Flies into the closet. All the beds get pulled up into the fucking closet, so it's just like barricade.
Yeah. And this is funny because I recognize a lot of these scenes, weirdly enough, from the Family Guy parody that they did, the Poltergeist. They almost parody this movie like exactly.
Yep, all its highlights they hit perfectly.
Yeah, and they make fun of it in the way, almost the same way that we were during the movie. The scenes that were dumb, we pointed out, and they did too. But yeah, that's so, you know, you'll probably remember that scene where like Stewie's like flying around and like the mattress stops the door, you know. Yep. Same thing in this movie, honestly. They did it spot on, I'd say.
Even Lou Diamond Phillips.
Chief Lou Diamond Phillips.
Hey, Carrot Top did the same joke as, I want my skull back. So the rest of the film after that, after Carol Ann is sucked into her closet, they come up after saving Buckwheat, and they rush to her room and his room, because they share a room, pull back the beds, pull back this blanket, the clown doll's there, and they're just like, whoa, where's Carol Ann? And it's revealed that Carol Ann's just like this disembodied voice humming around the house.
She's with the TV people.
Yes.
She's live.
She's with Joan Rivers. Never forget it.
Never forget it.
And so the rest of the film, they sit there and they call up some paranormal people. This old woman, this guy Specs, not really his name, but he had glasses.
Yeah.
Go for it. And then Black Man, who's just happy to be here.
Yeah, pretty much. Your standard paranormal crew, but of course this is an 80s movie, so we have to have the black guy, we have to have the nerdy guy, we have to have the old woman. I don't know where that's being thrown in there, but, something. Like, the woman that likes kind of, like, spiritual and all that. And it can't be a Steven Spielberg movie without one of them being an alcoholic, so let's pick the old woman.
Yes.
Right? Now,
they pulled a name out of a hat,
I know.
and it was her.
Now, it seems like just 5 minutes ago we were talking about the family, seeing like chairs move around, because we did. That is literally how it jumps. It goes from chairs slowly gliding across the room to the
giant fucking tree
coming alive,
and then Carol Ann goes poof.
Yeah, and the girl going into like the ether or whatever the fuck, and then they call a paranormal crew to investigate. Like, that's just so much shit in the first half of the movie.
I barely downed my first soda.
I know, right?
In that time,
it's ridiculous.
So, over the next few nights, they're just setting up cameras, trying to talk to Carol Ann.
Oh yeah, but when they first get there is hilarious, because they're just like, we're the best paranormal crew out there. We once detected a toy car gliding across the room, and they're like, oh yeah, and he's like, over the period of 7 hours. You wouldn't see it with the normal naked eye, but we had a like a time lapse camera, and they're just like, oh, that's crazy. And then they open up Carol Ann's room and shit's flying everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
and they're just like,
the portal,
this is really intense shit.
Yeah, like the portal's still like going fucking crazy, and they're just like, oh god. And at first I was like, okay, these people are scam artists and they're just gonna like be like, freaked out and run away. But no, they end up sticking around trying to solve this mystery, So that's nice of them.
It was just really funny. 7 hours for a car to go from point A to point B. I would have noticed eventually, but it wouldn't have taken me sitting there watching it for several hours. Like,
yeah, I would have like came downstairs like the next morning like with a cup of Joe, just been like,
hey, wasn't that over here?
Yeah, did you kick my toy car across the kitchen floor in a period of 7 hours?
Marion, please,
Marion.
So, like, the big highlight that comes out of them spending the next few nights there is Mr. Specs, man with glasses. He starts kind of freaking out, so he goes, or he's like eating all the meat in the house, and so he goes into the kitchen, grabs like this big ol' like chicken leg, and he sees a steak like crawl across.
Yeah, that was
counter.
Really cool. Like there was like a T-bone steak just sitting on the countertop, and then it's just inching across the counter like an inchworm, and I was like, what? That's so cool.
And then it opens up, maggots.
Oh yeah, like it's crazy. It like almost explodes like alien style, like a chest burster, and like shit's coming out of it. He drops his chicken leg out of his mouth.
There's and then it's got maggots
all over it, and he starts freaking out. He's like, oh my god, I'm seeing shit. Or
knees weak spaghetti.
Yeah, either way, shit is disgusting. So I'm gonna wash my face. Right? He goes over the kitchen, the bathroom, and starts like splashing himself with water. Can I talk about that though? Why do they do that? Have you ever done that? What? Have you ever been like freaked out or angry or anything and like splash your face with water? Why is that a thing?
I've done it. I think it's just the cold water being a shock to your nerves, just to either calm you down or like if you think you're dreaming, like shock yourself.
I don't get it. I've
only done it a handful of times.
It's in like every movie, and I've never done that. And when I just tried to see what it was all about, I was just like, I'm just going to splash water on my face and see how I feel about this. Because I did it. I experimented later on. I was like, you know what? Let's just see. Because this got me curious. Nothing. I just splashed myself in the face with water and I got wet.
Now I need a towel.
Yeah, I was like, goddamn. but in these movies, it's just like the cure-all. All right, it's an excuse to get them in the bathroom.
Yes.
And you know what? Let's talk about bathrooms. I think they do scary shit in bathrooms because it's when you're most vulnerable. Think about when you're taking a shit. If some guy kicked down your door and had like an axe and
you can't defend yourself when you've got your pants around your
what are you gonna throw your underwear at him? That's not gonna work.
Blind him with my glade. Just the freshness.
Blind me with
So
anyway,
the crazy thing about this bathroom scene.
Yeah, he goes to the bathroom.
Throws the water in his face, and then he looks in the mirror and he sees this kind of scratch on his cheek. And so he just starts, like any sane person, starts peeling his face.
And everyone probably remembers that scene.
Yeah, like if you've seen this film, you know this scene.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is the coolest scene. Yeah, I love this. He
starts peeling at it, starts peeling back his cheek, starts peeling at his whole face. Just this skeleton, his skull's underneath, his eyes are still there.
And it looks so...
It's horrifying.
It's great. It looks so good. Like how they did it. Like he's like ripping his eyeball out and it's just a skeleton. It's just a skull underneath. He's just ripping his flesh off, basically.
That alone gives the film like 6 out of 10.
Dude, yes. That gives it like 5 points.
Honestly. Instantly.
Instant 5 points for that scene alone. And it's odd because this is the most gruesome scene as well. There's really no blood in this movie. There's really no like... It's not a brutal movie, but it's horrifying. You're like, holy shit. And it's right in front of your face. It's not a jump scare. It's not anything. It's just weird. And you're like, oh my god, it's freaky. It freaks you out.
Yeah. And then he snaps out of it, realizes it was only just a dream.
Yeah. And then I think that's when Cassie was like, he's on meth or some shit. Because he's like got crank bugs just trying to pull out his face.
Why is my arm so itchy? Put your arm back on, please. After that happens, the woman investigator has a little powwow with the parents and the son about how being dead works.
Oh yeah, and God, is this scene boring.
Yeah.
These parts remind me of The Matrix. Because they just say random bullshit trying to sound philosophical.
There is no spoon. It's the will of the spoon. Yeah. So in this movie it says, there is no death, only the will of death.
Dude, I hate these scenes. And there's like 5 of them in this movie. I absolutely fucking hate them. Where they're just like...
They're not really dead.
Yeah, they're trying to go to the other side. And
but they don't know they're dead.
Oh my god, yeah. It's literally... If you break it down, it's just bullshit.
The one movie that did the whole they don't know they're dead best is The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's because there wasn't an old woman like sitting down with you saying like... You see spirits when they're trying to enter the other realm, blah, 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 blah. It was just like, oh shit, I'm dead.
Yeah.
It was like a cool revelation in this movie. But in this movie, they feel they need to explain to us how ghosts work, and it's not even like believable.
I know how ghosts works, okay?
Yeah.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood...
Who are you going to call?
I'm going to call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's what you're going to do. You're gonna call
exactly. Not this old bitch.
Yeah, seriously.
Because all she's going to do is drink and slur and talk about how death isn't a real thing.
Now, about this scene, is there anything of importance in this? No?
Not really. She just goes into this soliloquy about death. Yeah. Like, death isn't really death. It's a transition to a different, higher plane. Of existence.
So who cares? Shit that we could have figured out by like thinking about ghosts.
Yeah.
And guessing how they might work.
I mean, ghosts. How do they work?
Yeah, but this was back when like movies like this were starting out. So people explaining the supernatural was just cool. They're like, wow, that's like a cool way to think about it. But nowadays it's like, dude, I saw this shit last week on Supernatural, or something, right? And it took half the time. Either way.
Exactly.
So this bullshit scene's over, right?
They later see this fully brightly lit apparition come down the stairs.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Now, it's been a day since we've seen this fucking movie.
But there was nothing important about that either, now that I remember.
Not really. It was all just kind of shock. I will say this about Poltergeist.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the movie Sunshine. It takes bright lights and makes that the tension maker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you mentioned that during the movie. Actually, you said how it's odd that light is the scary thing in this movie. In a scary movie where darkness is, a key element.
Yeah, we've been watching nothing but dark films all month.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden this bright motherfucker comes out.
Exactly. But yeah, so there's a scene where right after that, it shows a bunch of ghosts walking down the staircase, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks all beautiful and stuff. It kind of looks like a cocoon thing. It reminded me of Mama. If the end scene from Mama was, instead of an evil moth cocoon, instead if it was a light, kind of willowy, kind of...
A light placenta.
Yes. What?
It's part of the pregnant belly, don't worry about it.
No, just never mind. So... Yeah, I just realized now that had nothing to do with anything. They never mentioned that again. And they're just oh yeah, they're ghosts. That's all they say.
I think it has something to do with something later, but for now it's just kind of shock.
Yeah, there's ghosts.
So then they say, you know what? This is too many ghosts for us to deal with. Let's call the shortest, highest pitched pixie we've ever seen, ever. So they call in this woman.
They get in the special investigator.
You know this person.
Yes. Now, this woman she looks like Kim Jong-un. Seriously. No shit. She looks just like Kim Jong-un. And she sounds like this, but like a little girl,
Yeah.
And it's so
she
annoying.
made Carol Ann sound like a teenager.
Oh, yeah, for
and
real.
Carol Ann's 4.
Exactly. But you know what? That's kind of... the whole time I was watching her scenes,
Please go towards the light, Carol Ann.
Yeah. I was thinking about nothing but, how she would be a great voice actor for, kids. But that's sad that that's all I'm thinking about. Because just like the old woman before, but worse, she does nothing but explain how to get the daughter out of the supernatural world. And I could make up something right now, and it would be just as credible. Because she goes on and on and on about the ghosts want to enter the other realm, but they're scared because they see Carol Ann's light, and then they see it's brighter than the light they must enter because she has the one thing they don't have, which is life. Yeah, and I'm like, shut the fuck up and get her out of the goddamn goo portal.
But if they're not dead, wouldn't they still be alive?
I don't.
So they should have life, but if they don't have life, then they must be dead.
That's what they try to explain.
Fuck this movie.
The purgatory thing, but it's stupid. It's just dumb filler. This movie took way too long to explain those things.
It sounds almost credible because of
how long. Yeah, because of how long they explain it, how believable everyone else is, in their acting, and the music in the background too helps.
Yeah.
But because at one point she's who's this weird old lady? And she's like, I can read your mind right now, and she does, and it's whoa, she must really actually know this shit. But honestly, all of us were just who cares?
God damn it, just get on with this.
Exactly.
So they do this scene trying to contact Carol Ann. They find where to access her, which is the closet, of course.
Because that's where she got taken, right?
Yeah. The doy. So they take some tennis balls, I think 2. They throw one as a tester. It falls through the ceiling out in the main lobby, foyer, whatever.
But what about... That doesn't make any sense. How come when they threw a tennis ball in there, it actually opened up an exit portal?
It just flew out instantly, but Carol Ann goes in there. She's just fuck, where's the exit?
And all the shit that was in her room that got sucked in the portal too didn't come out of a portal. But did they... Maybe
there was a little bit of jewelry that came out somewhere.
Yeah, were we not paying attention? Is that why? I think they actually marked the balls with something specific, right?
Yes.
They did, right?
Number 1, number 2, I think.
I don't know. I thought they must have put some kind of charm or spell on it to open up a portal, right?
Maybe.
If not, because yeah, I'm just making sure with you.
We got a Wikipedia this shit.
I didn't miss anything, right? Am I right? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay then, yeah. So it was literally just a ball marked 1 and 2 with a marker. So I guess
balls are magic.
Yeah. Okay. If anything from this movie, I learned that tennis balls can open up a portal from the
as long as they're white tennis balls.
Yes, that's so stupid.
So after they decide or they figure out where the portal is and where it's going to come out, they have Black Man stand out there to catch the next thing they throw in, which is a rope, and they tie it to the mother. Because only you will be able to save Carol Ann.
Yeah, which is weird. Oh god, they have a scene before they jump in and rescue her where they're pretty much telling all the ghosts and Carol Ann to run toward the light.
And then later, they go, no, stay away from the light. And then even after that, again, they're like, go towards the light.
Yeah, so that's stupid too, you know.
These people are very Mitt Romney.
Yeah, they're very Mitt Romney. They're flip-flop. But what they were trying to do with those scenes was explain how, like, Carol Ann had to lead the ghosts into the afterlife and then at the last minute, like, turn around and, like, get rescued, right? But they don't do a very good job telling her to do that or explaining in the movie. So when you watch it, it's just like, go to the light. No, turn around from the light. Go to the light.
You punk them quick.
Yeah, and then it's like, all right, Mom, get your ass into the netherworld and save your daughter. And that's where it leads up to that one scene where the rope is taut. It's, like, around the mom's waist, and she's about to go in and save her daughter. And the husband's like, I love you, and they have, like, a long, passionate kiss. And I just could not stop thinking about how much I don't care. Because these people, I don't care about these people. They're just cookie-cutter, you know, ticks and quirks, and I just hate them. And I was like, I hope she dies.
But she saves Carol Ann.
Yeah, she managed to get through the other portal.
And then they're like, they sit there for a little bit, and then the little old woman goes, this house is clean.
Yeah, pretty much. No, you skipped a little bit where, like, as soon as they come out of the portal, they're covered in, like, gelatin.
Oh, yeah.
This, like, red goo. And
like,
it's
they were just birthed.
Yeah, like, that's why I was like, what the fuck was that portal? A placenta or, like, what? But,
what is it?
Two placenta references in this show.
Heck yeah.
If you're
We're
playing
upping the ante.
If you're playing the Spooky Cast bingo, mark placenta off diagonally twice. I don't know. Stay tuned for the other clues. No, we should do that. Just print out bingo sheets. Every time we say a certain word. Penny farthing. It's just like, ooh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a rare one.
12 points.
12 points. I don't think you know how to play bingo, Derek.
It's been a while.
You're playing bingo. C7. 10 points! Yeah, so as soon as they come out of the placenta, they're covered in strawberry jello.
They all hug. They make.
Yeah,
they
they
kiss.
throw them in the bath, remember?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, throw them into a warm bath. Like, that's because apparently this has happened to her before. She knows exactly how to revive people.
It's the only way.
Yeah. So, Derek, if you come out of purgatory as a human flesh and blood being from a ghost, get into a bath.
Rub-a-dub-dub. Get my ass in the tub.
Snap right out of it.
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Rub-a-dub. Rub-a-dub. So then, like you said, she walks downstairs and the house is clear. And
then they leave.
Yeah. And you think everything's fine.
But then.
Yeah, this is like a twist ending. Like, I was getting ready to, like, get up, take a piss.
I started nodding off. I'm like, okay, that clown scene isn't here after all.
Yeah.
The boy goes back to sleeping in his room. Carol Ann's sleeping right next to him, just all fine. And then his fucking clown doll disappears, just out of sight and not out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like, oh boy. Oh, jeez. And looks under his bed. Nothing. Looks under the other side. Nothing. Sits back up. Ah! Clown tackles him, takes him under the bed. He's just like, no! No! and then the mom starts getting thrown around in her football jersey and panties.
And that's a cool effect there, too, because as she's getting thrown around by invisible forces, the room is, like, spinning. Or something. No, she's like, it's like gravity for her is changing. She's like on the ceiling, crawling around, like on the side of the wall, crawling around.
It's kind of like they built a whole revolving thing around the set.
They did. I watched. That was in the special features.
Was
actually.
it?
Yeah.
They did the same thing in The Fly.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. And they did that in
A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. They did that in a lot of movies too.
I own both of those too.
Yeah.
2001, and I own all the revolving sets.
all the movies with revolving sets. Where gravity's changing, but the camera's steady. But either way...
that shit is baller.
It was. So, she gets thrown... Does she just get thrown all the way outside into the pool, basically?
Yeah, she gets thrown up the wall, across the ceiling, down the other wall, I think out of the room, and then out the window. She's just pitched right out the window into the pool, and... or not finished yet pool. It's just a mud pit at this point.
Yeah. And
she falls in, and all these bodies just float up to the surface, and she's like, what's going on? What's going on? And normally you'd be surprised by that type of thing, but no. Because earlier in the film, Steven, Daddy Knows Best, was walking around with his real estate boss, and they were talking business like, someday, Steven, all this that the sun touches will be yours. So he's just like, yeah, this could be a nice little subdivision. It's right next to a cemetery. Well, it gives. And he's just like, oh, yeah, we'll just move it.
Yeah, we'll move the cemetery, right?
Isn't that a little sacrilegious, he says? And he's just like, it's money.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't know how we failed to mention that. Maybe because you can throw that anywhere. You can throw that scene anywhere.
Yeah.
Seriously. Let's just say that scene was right before this. Hell,
yeah.
I think it was, actually.
Somewhere around there.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
It was before Carol Ann came back, but really at the time you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when the bodies show up in the unfinished pool, you're like,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. So pretty much that's when you realize that their house was built on a graveyard, so
that cemetery was already moved once before.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The cemetery that was shown up on the hill had already been moved from where their house is now. So they're like, oh shit.
By moving cemeteries, they mean they only move the headstones.
Exactly. So
not the important fucking cargo underneath. Yeah. That's like moving the ship and just ditching all its supplies.
Exactly. Now that shit's hilarious though, because like the ghosts, or not the ghosts, but the corpses and like the skeletons will like, they just start shooting out of the ground at this point because shit is going crazy, right? So shooting out of the ground, like opening up, dead bodies are falling everywhere. And they're not really moving around and attacking because they're not like
they're just corpsing it up.
Yeah, they're not zombies. They're just straight up skeletons just shooting out of the ground, attacking it.
And the woman's just freaking out anyway. And I would freak out too.
Yeah,
but after a while,
get
just
really
be like,
to her.
"Whoa, they're just dead."
Well, I mean, like a dead body, like touching you and stuff, like landing on you is horrifying.
Yes.
But anyway, if I recall, wait, no, did we finish up how the boy fought the clown?
No.
No. Okay, so
we did not.
Yeah, which is a good scene. But while this is happening, she's in the pool, getting attacked by skeletons, which is stupid.
Scary skeletons and shivers down my spine.
The little boy's fighting the clown, right? It's strangling him with like the long demon arms that it grew. And he just starts fucking winning against this clown. He's like ripping out all the stuffing. And he's like, I hate you, 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 I hate you.
They ripped out my arms and threw them over there. And
then the closet opens up again. And then Carol Ann's like, fuck, I ain't going back in that shit. And of course, the mom is like, oh shit. She manages to get out of the pool and go upstairs. She's like, I gotta save my daughter.
And then this big demon ghost pops up right outside. Just, no, fuck you. Yeah, and so then the ghost is just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, so they're playing tug of war basically with the mom is playing tug of war with the demon portal in Carol Ann's closet. So she's got her arms on the kids. She's trying to pull them out of the room. The demon's trying to pull them into the closet. And eventually she wins. The father's there too, doing God knows what, right?
Probably smoking a bliff.
Yeah, honestly, I can't even remember where the father was in this. All I remember is that he was like, you can't go in there. And she's like, I gotta go in there. And he's like, all right, go in there. Being Mitt Romney.
All right, fine.
This movie was directed by Mitt Romney. But, yeah. You know what? The scene where she's running to the room from the pool to save her kids is pretty cool. Because it's like a really long hallway.
Yeah. It keeps just getting longer and longer like an accordion.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So the house is obviously being like... Something to the house is happening.
Yeah.
Something destructive.
They save... The mom and the dad save the kids, run outside.
So now they're on the street watching their house.
And basically. The house gets crumpled into itself.
Yeah.
Like a goddamn black hole just opened in the middle of it.
And just disappears. And all the neighbors are there, and like even the land developer, the guy that moved the graveyard before,
he's just like,
the father grabs this guy and he goes, "You idiot! You moved the cemetery, but you didn't move the bodies. You didn't move the bodies."
And in any kind of spoof, that would have been where the landlord just looks at the screen, shrugs his shoulders, and they go,
yeah. Oh jeez, I didn't know I had to move the bodies. Just like, oh my god, fuck.
You're worse than these stiffs. So. Fucking house crumples up like a balled up piece of newspaper.
Mm-hmm. And this is where the movie will like abruptly ends, you know? Because it shows the family going to a motel after this. This is the final scene in the movie, which threw me off guard. I thought they would have some kind of discussion or something. Mm-hmm. So they go up to a motel, walk up slowly into their room, shut the door. A few seconds later, the door opens up again, and you see the father pushing the TV that was in the hotel room out the door, slamming it, which is really funny, right? It's just
Yeah.
like, fuck TVs, we're done.
Yep.
You know, and then the credits just start to roll, and that's it. It's truly just
Kind
that.
of like when they push the fucking Dino out of the Flintstones, out of the house,
Exactly.
and then Dino climbs in through the window and pushes Fred out out the door.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, Wilma! So, if it were made nowadays, with how smart TVs are, the TV would have gotten up and been like, please, don't go.
Please. It's just, it's like that one TV that, they hooked that IBM computer up to on Jeopardy. It's just, like, really smart. What was that thing's name? Edison?
I don't even...
Who cares?
I don't know TVs.
The point is...
I just own one.
Yes. The point is, if this movie was made now, which I hear they are making a remake,
Yes.
it's going to be a lot different. I'm sure they'll cut down on the stupid stuff. Maybe have some more, like, creative face-melting scenes, like the one where the guy picked his face off. Like, some kind of horrifying thing that would just fuck with you. You
All
know?
that makes me look forward to that remake
More hallucinations.
is that Sam Rockwell's in it.
Yeah, which I don't care much for, but I want to see more hallucinations, because that was the movie.
That was the highlight right there.
Yeah, this whole movie was just about a kind of a basic family.
It had a hodgepodge of scares. Because it had clowns, it had trees, it had ghosts,
I suppose
and it
so.
had peeling faces.
Yeah.
It didn't know what it wanted to be.
Exactly, but that's the kind of the cool thing. Like, anything could have happened. You didn't know what was going to happen.
But goddammit, it had its Spielberg charm all over it.
Yeah. So this movie, I mean, that's kind of sad. To put it simply, it's just a movie about a house that fucks with people in the long run, you know. It ended abruptly, which is... I like the ending, though. It's kind of funny, you know.
Yep.
That family is never going to watch TV again.
Probably not.
That's what's funny. I'm just like, dude, the kids are going to...
They're going to
like,
become Amish people.
Yeah, no. I mean, that was like the 80s. The kids are going to be like, what? Like 40 now, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
So, so they're just like, oh, did you watch Breaking Bad? Like, oh,
No!
I ain't watching no goddamn Breaking Bad shit. You know, I don't know.
They turned all hood.
But anyway, yeah, they're all gangster for some reason. I fought a ghost, nigga. Cutting that out. But, so Derek, what was your favorite scene in this movie, and what was your least favorite scene in this movie?
Best scene is that face peeling bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You know
just the coup de grace.
what? Can I just say right now, that was mine too?
Yes.
Get that out of the way.
Yep.
There's no need to explain that. It's fucking rad. It's
That
a
was
dude
it.
ripping his face off. That's so cool.
On my PowerPoint list of all the scary movies I've seen,
Yeah.
that scene is my display picture of Poltergeist.
Hell yeah, man.
Because I always have the poster of the movie,
Yeah.
and then a scene from the movie. That's the scene that I grabbed, because I was just like, nobody's going to understand
Exactly.
unless they've seen it.
Least favorite scene.
Least favorite scene?
It doesn't have to be like a moment. It can be like a series of moments until the next thing happens. You know what I mean?
Oh, when all the pool guys are working on the pool,
That's your least favorite one?
and the dude's just like, this is right before he starts like trying to eat their food.
Yeah. I mean, it's so...
the girl comes out to go to wherever.
to school. This
and
is when all the
and
kids are leaving school.
And the pool guys are just like,
At like a 14-year-old girl.
yeah. And I'm like,
Clip the microphone.
we broke Michael.
No.
Fucking, they're like cat calling at this anywhere between 14 to 18, but most likely 14 to 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
At the house where she lives,
Yeah.
while the parents are just in the window,
Yeah.
right there.
This scene is like a minute. Well, the daughter like
And then
flips
she
them
gives
off.
them the bird.
And then the mother sees that through the window. She's like, so funny. My daughter's so strong and, independent, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, how are they not pissed? But that's so insignificant because you only see the pool being dug up once.
Just to establish it's being dug up.
Yeah, and the characters that, hit on their daughter and, were just being kind of rude construction workers are not important. They do not come back. It is just for what Steven Spielberg thinks is comedy, which is probably why that's your least favorite scene, right?
Yeah.
My least
Though
favorite...
I do kind of like when he does try eating the chili from the
Yeah,
window.
he just
and then the mom
sticks-
comes up and just goes, how's it taste? And he's just kind of like...
Great. And he's like
Fine.
drinking out of her coffee cup. Great coffee, by the way. And she's like, get the fuck back to work.
yeah, asshole.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to make lunch for my
We don't
family.
pay you with weed for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. My least favorite scene was when the old little lady explains how to get Carolyn out and where she is exactly. in like the ethereal realms and shit, the ghostly realms, the ghost dimension.
Oh no.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that, but you know, it's just so boring. So now it wouldn't be boring if it was like actually relatable, but because this stuff is all made up,
and it's really long and it's really monotone.
It's like watching Lord of the Rings and having someone explain like the entire lore behind some magical, forest that you don't even end up seeing.
It's
in the
like
movie,
watching Lord of the Rings while someone's reading Lord of the Rings to you.
And it's just explanations on stuff that doesn't matter because it's going to be over with, and it's not what you even see anyway.
And we're not going to get another trilogy out of it.
Yeah,
deal with it.
And also it bothered me because her voice was so annoying.
Yes.
She reminded Cassidy pointed out that she was just like one of our coworkers, Allie. She's just tiny, like really small, like she looks like a little girl, honestly, and she sounds like one too. And that's all I was thinking about. I was just like, oh my god, this is like Allie's grandma. And so I was just annoyed. I was waiting for her to like start telling like knock knock jokes because that's the thing she does. I know, right? You're already getting annoyed at this person. You haven't even met.
Because people say puns are terrible.
Knock knock jokes are the worst.
Those are the worst.
Oh yeah.
Those are worse than anything.
Hey Derek.
No.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Final thoughts.
Oh. Well, final thoughts who?
On this movie, stupid.
No.
Sorry.
Final thoughts. I appreciate it for what it was. It's not great. It's good, not great. So you could even say okay on the deep end. But I appreciate what it tried to do. It set an example.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are a lot better ghost movies now.
But you can tell that they fed off of this.
Yeah.
But because you've seen them before this recently, it's apparent that in your mind you think that this stole from them, just because you haven't seen this one in a while.
Yeah. Just to look back on the films that we've reviewed, Woman in Black, Dead Silence, Mama, Babadook, I'd rank all of those higher than Poltergeist.
Yeah, honestly.
And that's the classic one. Like, all these ones are, like, I've given all the other ones, like, 7.
7 is our very common review, but that's because we feel that none of these are average, really. Because we've reviewed nothing but good movies.
Yeah. Or at least ones that we think are decent.
Yeah, and if I think a movie is average, like, okay, subpar, I'll give it a 5. Mm-hmm. That's how I, will rate things. So the fact that these movies before have been getting a 6 and, like, an 8 from me, that's pretty unprecedented, honestly, in my opinion. I'm not even that, like, I don't know, like, I'm pretty harsh on movies, but my final thoughts are, this is a classic for a reason. There are lots of reasons. But there are a lot of things that have clearly changed in the horror industry because of this movie and its flaws. I mean, the explaining stuff is stupid. Just do it. Just show us or something, or make it brief. But this movie is half explanation and then it'll just happen. And
show, don't tell.
Exactly.
And I honestly think that's because of all the special effects at the time. It was just kind of like borderline with it. All the effects were in practical effects.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're all practical. They're great. Nothing except for like
all the
ghosts.
CGI stuff, because it's a ghost thing.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that's obviously where they had to shine with the practical face peel.
But even that, did you notice that all the ghostly effects were animated?
Yes.
They weren't like 3D rendered or like a green screen. They were straight up fucking drawn.
Like Walt Disney rose from the dead and fucking doodled himself.
Which is they were pretty impressive, honestly, because they were very lifelike. Because they obviously drew it exactly to the scene, probably overlaid it, onto it while drawing it.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit style.
Mm-hmm, exactly, but like better because that was you know well no, you know what I mean, because they weren't supposed to be cartoons in this. They did a really good job making them lifelike. So Derek, with those final thoughts in mind, what do you give this movie out of 10 spooks?
6.5.
6.5?
Yes.
You went down.
I did.
Oh my god.
And that was even in just the last few hours.
Is that because we talked about it a little bit more?
It's because I realized I like all those other films better.
Wow.
But I'm not budging on those ratings. We've gone too far.
That's crazy. Exactly. I, Derek, give this movie 7 out of 10 spooks.
Oh shit!
I ended up liking this more than you. How did that happen?
Holy fuck!
How did that happen?
And this is a classic. Usually, I like older films better than anyone else.
That's why.
Holy shit!
But you know what? I can't explain why I give it a 7 out of 10. But I should be able to, but I can't. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you just spent like an hour explaining.
Exactly. The movie has flaws, big flaws. But
whatever.
But like I said, in my memory, I have cut them out, and I've narrowed the movie down to what I like, and what I do like, I like a lot.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
So yes, 6.5 from me, 7 from Cody. Next month...
That's a pretty good spook factor. But yeah, that's the end of Ghost Month.
Yeah. Ghost Month,
until we do another month of Ghost
Oh, jeez. We gotta go through all the bullshit, like
Exactly.
deep sea horror.
Oh, yes, dude. I want to watch some Leviathan movies. That'd be badass. But Derek, why don't you tell us what next month will be, and the next movie?
Alright. Well, when we went to go see The Woman in Black 2, we saw a trailer for the next new 2015 horror film.
Yes.
And if you haven't heard about it yet, or seen a trailer of it yet, it is called The Lazarus Effect. And it deals with bringing people back from the dead. So, as soon as we got back from Woman in Black 2, I said to Cody, why don't we just make these themed around whatever new movie comes out
Exactly.
in that particular month? So Woman in Black 2 dictated Ghost Month.
Yes.
The Lazarus Effect, I was like, that's kind of like demons, but that's too close to ghosts.
Yeah.
Why don't we just focus on resurrections?
Yeah, because this woman in this movie dies and comes back to life, but she's been to hell, and you don't know if it's her that came back or a demon.
I've been through hell and back.
So, next month is Resurrection Month, the Frankenstein of horror movies.
Ooh, and we will watch that probably.
Yes.
Maybe.
And the next movie we're doing...
Which is the first one you named as soon as I said Resurrection.
I love this movie so much. Everyone loves this movie. I don't know anyone that does not like this movie. It's a little cornbally, but...
Drum roll.
Next month, we're reviewing Pet Sematary.
Boom!
Oh my god, I love this movie so much. I'm gonna watch this, immediately. Usually I put it off till I have, free time. I'm just gonna be come up from work and watch this right away.
We're gonna watch it on Monday.
Hell yeah.
And actually, record it Tuesday and just be like,
wow.
Well, fuck, Friday.
We'll upload on time. Oh my god.
For once.
But yeah, I'm so excited for that movie.
Yeah, that's gonna be our first one. And then...
Unfortunately, The Lazarus Effect, the next horror movie coming out, doesn't come out until the 27th of
That's
February.
the end of the month.
I know,
so we get to talk about whatever fucking resurrection shit we
Which
want.
is good, because you had a movie that you especially ordered just for this next month, Death Dream, which is a favorite of yours. A classic as well.
Yeah, I've only watched it once now.
Not a lot of people have heard it, but heard of it. But, it's an important movie, apparently, because it's highly reviewed.
It focused on the Vietnam War, kind of consequences from coming back, shell-shocked teens, drafted and shit. And it's also an adaptation of The Monkey's Paw, which is a kind of classic short story.
Which they're making a TV show based on. Did you know that?
Fucking A.
I know, man. I can't believe... How would you take that concept and make it into a fucking show?
I'm already fucking pissed off that they're doing a TV show of 12 monkeys.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh.
Sorry.
Damn it, Cody, you opened the wound.
You said monkey.
Yeah, Monkey's Paw.
I don't know. Either way, that wraps up this episode. I hope you liked it.
I don't now.
Why not? Because I ended on a bad note.
On 12 Monkeys TV show. God damn it.
Derek, how could we end on a bad note? I bought you. You bought yourself Taco Bell. I drove you to Taco Bell.
We had a few laughs.
I bought you dinner last night, so...
I know. Well, your girlfriend was there, so...
I bought both of you dinner last night.
That's the only reason we went to dinner, man.
I bought dinner for my boyfriend and my girlfriend. That's probably what that guy was thinking. Our waiter's just what is the relationship with these people?
They're like, are these a couple trying to get a third guy in, or is this a gay couple trying to experiment with a woman?
I just look at you here's the deal, Derek. We're swingers. No.
Hello,
anyway.
lover.
Oh, God. Anyway, Derek, that wraps up the Poltergeist.
And Ghost Month.
Yes. So we'll see you next time for Pet Sematary on the good, the bad, and the bloody. We will be here next week.
Whether you like it or not.
Bye-bye.